John Fallon.
Hello there, gents. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Just in your statement, when the partnership was announced, you mentioned that you have ambitions to make Shelbourne Ireland's most successful club, both domestically and in Europe. How long do you think that's going to take?
With Damien, I think not long. So let me put all the stress on his shoulders. I mean, I met with him before and today too. So in our meetings, what I understand from our coach is we are not far away. So this is the best cooperation that that quality coach and that much passion and vision for this club will be just supported by my team. So if you ask me, this season again from our side will be the learning season for sure. But why not to have a surprise from the team? Of course we will follow that too. But next season I'm very confident that we're gonna be a very strong team, because this winter time for us will be more learned time for the league and everything, so that we can have better meetings and cooperation. Because for us, of course, we will have some recruitment, but the timing again is very short for us to make the correct ones. So we need some time. And if you ask me what is the target, I feel like next season we will be in good places. And if we are not in the Europe for the next season, I will be disappointed, because we will do everything for the Europe. Why not to be the champion? I mean, it's not a miracle, if you ask me, because this league is a tough league, but how much you spend with the same coach and the players believe, the team improves that much. So here we already have this system going on. This is the big advantage. If you ask me, make a team from zero is the hardest thing in football at the moment, because people, the players are getting used to each other, new coach, new system. Now we have something going on very good, except for maybe some support from the squad side, which we will just start to improve for this season. But next season we will have, I think, many recruitments, so that the team can go in a better position.
Philip Quinn.
Thank you. Question for Andrew Vermey, Philip Quinn, Irish Daily Mail. What's the possible time? What's the likely timeline and cost for the securing of the lease of Talca Park, and also for the redevelopment of a stadium that's currently not fit for purpose? And how much is it all going to cost?
Most of that is commercially sensitive and confidential, but I think what's the best way of answering it is firstly, we're very close in our negotiations with Dublin City Council. We're progressing well with our financing plans, but with Talca Park, the project involves our creating not just a fabulous football stadium, but one that retains the unique character and sense of history that Talca Park has, and most importantly turns the stadium into a community hub that isn't just used once a week or once every 2 weeks for a football match. It's a living, breathing facility where members of the community can go and use. For example, one of our great directors, Finian McGrath, former Minister for Disabilities, will be operating an advisory service from Talca Park when we have repurposed and refurbished it for parents of disabled kids. So, and we have an extensive range of similar partnerships and initiatives. So Talca Park will not just be renewed, it will be reimagined, and we believe it's going to be superb. But these things are very complicated and they take a lot of time, and but our objective is to do that.
Do you have a timeline or a cost?
We hope to get it done as soon as possible. I'd be surprised if we didn't have a conclusion in the next, certainly this calendar year.
For the lease?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If not before, if not earlier.
Could I just ask one more, sorry, if I may, to Tan Kessler. You were in Rome recently. There's an affiliation between Hull City and Roma. Mm-hmm. Are Shelburne in any way part of that, or could they become part of it?
No, it's actually the chairman's vision that we're trying to apply in multinational level, whether it's multi-club ownership or partnership. So obviously, we have a strong network within the global football community. So we're trying to take our relationships on a more stronger level in terms of developing players, in terms of exchanging players, in terms of creating market for our players. So for Shelbourne, why not? This is something we'll always look to improve in terms of the relationships. The club itself has been run tremendously well. So like we're just another strong partner and football vision coming in and helping all the board members in the club. So, but the football side, it'll be more international aspect of it. And we'll just women's football and men's football, we'll try to do our best to globalize it and introduce it to the global football market.
Might we see Roma playing here? Mourinho's most welcome.
Maybe new Talca Park. Maybe, yeah, that would be sentimental. Yeah.
Neil?
Hi, Neil O'Riordan from the Irish Sun. Acun, I appreciate you said that this was an individual project, but if I'm correct, you were referring to the point system there for work permits in the UK. Was that correct? When you were talking about which countries you looked at in terms of... Yeah. So I assume then that recruitment is a part of it, that you'll be recruiting players for Hull City, but placing them with Shelburne in order to obtain a work permit. Is that correct?
No, it doesn't work. Unfortunately, the players doesn't get points if they play in Ireland for Hull City.
Okay.
So it is not the way we are thinking. As I say, it's an individual project. So we can just transfer some players from here to some other clubs in Europe too. So only the British boys can come and play here and come back. That's the way it goes. Otherwise, a player is playing in Ireland League doesn't get points for British League. Sure. But after we bought the club, again, God's gift to us, I think. Now they have a limit for some players, 4 players, 5 players, let's say, that you can take without points. So they now, because it was too stressful for the clubs in England that they couldn't get so many talented players because of this point system. Now they just changed it and now more flexible, that we have 4 or 5 players who is shining around the world. You can bring them to England without the points, which Tan knows very detailed. I don't know the very extreme details. But at the end of the day, the project is, again, to just underline something which I forgot. Because of this European Union, you can bring all the talents from the Europe to here easily, which actually, I know that not a big quantity of players are successful out of Ireland in Irish League as a percentage. But I believe that we can do it if we can get the good players. For example, if you ask me, Croatia is one of the unique countries in the world that has the biggest potential in football. So I was with the Croatian Federation chairman, and do you call it chairman?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we had a meeting in Turkey. Just, for example, there are so many Croatian talents that can improve coming to Ireland. For example, in most of the countries, it is not very easy. When you have a club in England, you cannot do it. But in Ireland, now we have the Croatian potential to bring and discover some talents. So this European Union advantage is very good. Also, I mean, when you even everything looks so good. They play Friday. You play Friday night, where the game is Saturday in England. So Friday night, Shelbourne game, and Saturday daytime, Hull City game. For me, you know, I'm traveling actually all year 700 hours. Last year I made with the jet. So I think it's going to be 750 or maybe 800 this year. My schedule is usually I go most of the games of Hull City from either Dominican Republic or Turkey. So for me, again, it suits like Dominican Republic, Ireland, England, Turkey, Dominican Republic, Ireland. So now it even fits the map. So
He said I can come, by the way. Just
But if I may,
Yeah.
If I may, just add on to your question, and I know Chairman is very passionate about, and also answered your question in a way about our network. Following on, there is also a massive potential in here, and we've also understood some of our players in Hull are from Ireland, and they're very hardworking.
Almost all of them. No, one to another. We have now 4 or 5 Irish, and we are speaking to 2 or 3 more Irish.
So it is like you said, the character and resilience, and also the potential of these players being debuted in England is also, we're going to be very aggressive in recruiting local talent as well. Please, I think this shouldn't be misunderstood that we have a global reach and we're trying to improve, but the domestic talent, we're going to get our hands on it and then try to find the right talent for the Shelbourne club under our coaching and academy structure. And we will improve the academy as well to be able to bring other Irish players, and instead of going them out, they stay with us, we develop them, maybe they will have a route coming into whole city environment.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but very important thing is your local players are talented, which is a big advantage, of course. But population is not too many. Because of that, I think the teams are just trying to get the best of them. That's the only problem is the population. Otherwise, as a talent, Ireland has a big potential for sure.
And sorry, can I just ask, I know it was in the context of negotiations with Dundalk at the time, but when Liam Rosenior spoke about the 2 clubs, 2 teams playing in the same style, it caused a bit of a stir here. Was he mistaken in his interpretation, if what you're saying is that's an individual project, that there won't be any directive, I guess, to replicate the same playing style at Shelburne as there is at Hull City?
1 second.
Bizim oyun sistemimizi hocayı aslında söylediğinde orada yanlış interpret edildiğini düşünüyoruz biz. Çünkü hoca yani bu yeni modern futbola beraber aynı şekilde oynamak istiyoruz dedi. Dolayısıyla bir oyun felsefemiz olacak.
I mean, you are talking about the 2 teams playing the same system of football.
Well, that's what Liam Rosenior said.
Yeah.
It would not make sense for them to have different styles if the 2 clubs were owned by the same people.
No, as a general, I mean, I like football when the team plays good football. So first of all, why I am the owner of a club, first of all, I want to get entertained first by myself so that people can get entertained. So for me, football is like should be, for my part of football understanding, is the team has to play his own character and his own style, which is looking good when you watch it. Sometimes football is such a sport that one game can be the worst 2 hours of your life, or one game like the World Cup final can be the best 2 hours of your life. So what I can say is we want, of course, always to see good football, and in Hull City, what we achieved with Liam is we are playing good football. We are playing our own style. We are not playing according to the opponent. We have our own system, and people come more and more. Why? Because they get entertained. So this is the philosophy. But of course, we cannot expect the two teams to play completely the same style, because every chef has his own talent in cooking. So of course, I'm sure that we are already playing good football, by the way. That I cannot come all to the games, but what my people has been last weeks that following the team says that the team is playing good football, and with the good transfers. I mean, if you ask me what kind of transfers will come to this club, they will be all, most of them will be all talented, ball-playing style of football players with the good physical level. That's the philosophy. After that, the chef will cook the food and we all enjoy. And he's not too far away from us.
Gavin?
Acun, Gavin Kumsky from the Irish Times. UEFA are actively investigating the legitimacy of multi-club systems, and your chief rivals in Bohemian CEO said it has the potential to destroy the League of Ireland. How do you respond to these statements?
May we have the last part of your question, please?
Yeah, so UEFA are actively investigating the legitimacy of multi-club systems, and Bohemian CEO, the guy in your position across town, says that it has the potential to destroy the League of Ireland. I was wondering what your response is.
Will I take that? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, sure. Thanks, Niall. Well, the only potential issue with multi-club models is where two teams play in the same competition, and there are.
No, but I think Bohemian's owner said last week. Chief executive. He said multi-club system is not good.
Yeah, I'll come to that. I actually spoke to Daniel about this during the week, and I told him that every single aspect of his concern can be covered in contract, and I'm a former lawyer, and I offered to draft the contracts for him, so no problem.
But
Acun, how do you respond to the UEFA that they're actively investigating the legitimacy of this?
UEFA?
UEFA.
Investigating what?
Well, they're looking at Chelsea and Strasbourg's partnership at the moment, and there's several, obviously it doesn't happen until Hull City and Shelburne are in the UEFA Conference League together. That would make probably your position untenable, would it?
In our career, we had never been any problem with any laws. So I'm sure that if we do something,
we will know. We would have known that before getting into it.
Is there something that we don't know? A rule like maybe you inform us and we give up this deal? Is there something like that? No. What is UEFA investigating? What is the problem having two teams? There are so many teams around the world, like City Group and
clubs are independent entities is one argument. Does that cease if the two years?
Independent entities, they're hepsi bağımsız yapılardır. Onun için böyle bir araştırma yapıyorlar. Soruşturma açıyorlar.
Something I don't know, but what I can say is I hope the best.
Okay. And Tan, could I just ask you, just as far as priority investment for Shelburne, is it improved playing squad, improved facilities, or the modernisation of Talca Park? Which can we expect to see first?
As far as the facility improvements, I really would like to let Andrew take over it, because they've been working so hard. I don't want to, neither none of us want to take credit prior to the job being done before us. As far as football side, with chairman's vision and our group, our team members per se, football department, we'd like to improve the team. Yes, we'd like to improve the way we play, but this is not just taking the context out and trying to put new context. So where you're trying to go actually is with our coach and his staff. We've been working on it already for the last 2-3 months. So we're trying to ask him what he needs, what we can do to improve his day-to-day, success. And then he's coming back to us and requesting certain things. And then us as a group with chairman trying to identify right players to create better football for you guys to see. So in a way, our vision is just not try to destroy the Irish League, it's just try to improve the Irish League per se.
I mean, for example, if Manchester City owns a club in Turkey, I would be very happy because it means that for the Turkish league, it's an advantage that we can see better players and good way of football philosophy in Turkey. So, if you ask me, it's an advantage for the country, but of course, I really respect any kind of opinions that some people don't like it. This is life. We cannot always think the same.
Sean? Hi there, Sean O'Connor from the Irish Independent. What are the plans for Shelburne's training facilities in particular?
This is one of our first aim. We just spoke even today that it needs improvement and we'll do it as soon as possible. So this stadium thing is a long process. Andrew has been just working before us, but this facility, training ground facility part, our first priority is, I think, this thing which you mentioned, and we're gonna do it better and higher quality as soon as possible. This is very important for us. For me, the players has to just be in better conditions so that they can be happier and they can perform better. So this facility thing, training ground facility thing, is so important for us, and we are on it.
Last one from Derek.
I'd just like to ask a slightly different type of question. You currently have, you spoke well about Damien Duff earlier. Damien would be considered, more or less a national treasure here. He's a much respected international. He's a young manager learning his job. Can you tell us what you think of Damien and how important was he in your taking over the club, and how do you see your organisation being of benefit for Damien, just as Damien can be as benefit for you?
Yeah, I mean, again, for us, I think it's a gift to have a coach like this, because I mean, it's not possible for you to bring a coach with these financial situations in Ireland, that level of player as a coach, and come here and just work for in that hard circumstances. So I really appreciate his love about this country. I really appreciate his love about football and keeping on being a better and better manager. But on the other hand, of course, he's just living football with his heart. There are so many star players. We just talked maybe today in again early times. There are so many talented big players that they don't continue on the pitch, because for them it's not easy, because they want to enjoy the life or working in different levels. And with a small budget country in football, he's just giving his everything and from his heart. That's so valuable for us. About football, I will respect everything he says, because for me he's a big talent and I can never talk football in detail with him. But most important thing is when we were just talking about the deal, he's just such a name that now everybody in Turkey knows him. When I talk about Shelbourne, for example, I immediately mention his name, to just make the other side concentration higher. I just how is the club, they ask, and I say Damien Duff is the manager, and say wow. So that even makes some big names make big good effect on teams, which we had in Turkey so many times, that big names came to Turkey, and because of these big names made the clubs popular in the world. So again, Damien's character and his personality is a big chance for the club, I think, and in the future it's going to be very helpful for the world to know Shelbourne more, I think. So we are very happy about it.
That's the end of the daily section. Are there any Sunday in the house that would like to ask questions? Barry?
Question to Acun and Tan. What conversations have you had with both Liam and also Damien about players potentially coming from Hull City?
I don't get involved in football matters, so I've had none. Tan?
No, Chairman.
Actually, I mean, this is not the part we just talk too much about it at the moment, because this is an individual, long-time conversations. But if you ask me, I will give you an example which you will understand better. Is Potter, was in Hull City, and because the team was in League One, Louis Potter had the chance to play every game because the team was in League One, and he didn't have too many players in front of him. So this made him improve so good that we couldn't keep him, and he went to Premier League. So again, Greaves from our academy. So our academy potential players, when the team was in League One, made so big performances that everybody said, oh, wow, what a good players and what a good academy you have. Now this academies bridge, I think, for the future, I think players' future careers. I think Shelburne looks very good. So any shining players from our academy, can be involved in this project easily, so that he can improve and he can give so much things to football in the early years. So he will not lose time to just wait behind some players, and he will have the chance to play so many games to another. So because they are British players, adaptation will be easier, so it's a big advantage.
Lots of questions from Hull City fans about the impact on their club this deal will have. From a financial point of view, there's only so much money to go around. It's a difficult climate. What financial impact will it have on Hull City, if any at all?
If you're asking, are we taking anything away from Hull City and giving it more to Shelburne? No, because I'd like to answer it on behalf of Chairman. Why? Because this is a unique environment. So we've positioned it in such a way that we're not taking anything from each other.
There is something very obvious. The financial fair play limits. So about Hull City, I mean, I would like to spend 2 times maybe, but there's the limit problem. So we can only spend, as you know, a certain amount of budget. So there is zero effect of Shelburne about Hull City in that case, because you cannot spend. We are now every day trying to balance this parachute money thing. We talked before that I think it's not very logical in British football that teams are getting 75 million per year, that we have only a budget of 17 million minus per year. So at the moment we are just calculating everything in detail to make the recruitments. So there is zero effect of Shelburne in that case, because we are spending all the money until the limits in Hull City. So this cannot go more.
Shelbourne have a very successful women's team, you'll be aware of.
Yeah.
The situation in Hull is complicated. What can you learn? What kind of expertise can you take from the way that the women's team have been integrated here in Shelbourne over to Hull City?
Tan's area. Come on, Tan.
Back to you again.
No, it's actually.
I give the ball.
The fact that we have a successful women's team in here, that also there's been inquiries in Hull in terms of creating a women's team or taking over a women's football team. So we're still in progress in Hull for the right project. This shouldn't be just writing a check or sponsoring. It has to have some kind of a synergy, has to have some kind of a success story and support our vision. So what we have here already been achieved. So we look forward to just support it and then try to do the same with men's team and with women's team as well.
Is that where you want to get to with Hull though? Like, this is an integrated club with the women and the men, kind of having that at some point down the road in Hull?
He's asking about Hull City women team, eh?
Yes. No, it's a good question, and you know, we've been.
Why is Hull City women team is not part of us?
There is a separate entity. It's actually just a name
Which
that
we respect.
they chose to.
Which we respect. But of course here, I think the system is different.
Yeah, we are together. So.
So they are our sisters here.
But you'd like that to be the case in Hull?
Yeah, no, we look forward to it, but it has to make sense. This is very important. It just can't be just a name and then we just write checks. It has to have like a success story, a good business model to help the women's football. As you know, we do a lot of things with Tigers Trust, where we just, a lot of, do a lot of camps, a lot of organizations for women's football anyway. It's not that we're avoiding it, we're trying to do it in the right context,
Thank you. And then final question to Andrew. What impact have you felt since Acun came into the club so far? And what are you expecting kind of short term? What are your short term hopes?
Well, I think the impact, it's early days, but the impact is enormous in quite a number of ways. I think firstly, the most important thing is the synergy between the people. Acun and his team are remarkable people. They're remarkable people, special people. And I've never in my previous career dealt in any great depth with people from Turkey before, but they're as Acun said, they're very similar to us. They're really good, straight, honest, committed, passionate people. And what the team are already bringing in terms of their resources is already being felt in terms of, for example, sponsorship. Our network of potential sponsors has expanded multifold because Acun Media is a very significant global organization with a substantially greater network. We already have significant social media following in Turkey, and we're committed to driving that forward. So, to be honest with you, I think that this is a marriage made in heaven. This isn't just, A transfers a majority of shares, or the group, myself, Ricky, Mickey, Joe, and the team are transferring shares to Acun. That's not how it's working. They're coming in, they're taking a controlling stake, and they're delivering huge sporting resources, commercial resources, and money. So it's a marriage made in heaven.
Philip?
Acun, there are people in this room who have given their lives to Shelburne Football Club. They've put their hands in their pockets and they've given their money and their time. You are now in charge. You have now taken over the flame of Shelburne. How long do you intend to be owner of Shelburne, and how patient will you be while waiting for success?
How long? For me, I never thought this question, because if I'm in a business, I go forever. So for me, it's not easy to give up. I just go for the success with all my power in my whole life. I never gave up, and I'm not easy person to give up. So here, if you ask me if some failures can happen, it's not gonna demotivate me. My motivation is always high. For me, there is nothing in my mind that I asked to myself if or maybe everything is so clear about this city, this country, and this club. So I think we're gonna go for a long time.
Just to follow up on that, if I may, Shamrock Rovers, who are the #1 club in terms of success at the moment, their manager took 4 years before he won a major trophy.
Yeah.
And they've since gone on to win, you know, a lot of cups and leagues. Are you prepared to be that patient with Damien, or assuming he's there?
I mean, it's again very good question. I believe you have to insist when you see the hope. So this is the way of success. First, you will believe, then you will insist. So if I don't believe, for example, I give up in 2 minutes. In my whole career, in my whole business life, what I did is just first believe or not believe, then insist. So here, from my point of view, we are with a very unique manager, and I really agree with you that success comes when you just follow one direction and just stay behind it. So from our point of view, we believe in our coach and we are behind him. So as you say, if there is going to be a success coming, it needs time, and we are very patient about it. By the way, I'm sure that the fans are too, because I see them coming to the games with so good numbers, so good energy. I'm looking forward to see the fans. I want to see their energy around me. So I feel like we are a family here, that all the fans and us together, including our coach, going in one direction. So we have to believe each other. The fans will believe us, we will believe in our coach, the coach will believe the players. This belief will take us to the, I think, victories.
I'd just add to that you hit on a very important point. There are many people who have given their lives to Shelburne Football Club, and
you're talking about yourself, huh?
Not me, definitely not me. From the glory days up to 2005, 2006. Since then, Joe Casey, Niall, Eamon, Shay, John, there are a number of people out there, Brian, have given their lives to this club. And I know that I've spoken at, and there are others, and forgive me for not mentioning their names, Liam Ward, people who have given their lives to this club, and Acun is acutely aware of that. He has met these people. We in the last transition, if you like, around 2018-19, we managed to integrate entirely with that wonderful group of people, and that's what's going to happen again. They're all still involved in the club. They're all still committed to the club. I see almost all of them here in this room, and they're special people.
Thank you, everybody. That concludes today's press conference. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.